Welcome to this edition of Peak Performers Podcast with your host, Thor Conklin. Thor will be sharing the necessary tools, strategies, and psychology you'll need to become a peak performer in any area of your life or business.
Welcome back to another episode of the Peak Performers Podcast. I'm your host, Thor Conklin. And today we have David Koplan. He is the owner of TCB Advertising. David, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Thor.
All right, so this is going to be a little bit different show. So if you're a business owner, you are going to want to listen in today. If you're watching on this on YouTube, keep watching these. We're going to have some great information. But I want to give you a little bit of a backstory here. David is actually a client of ours. And I met David through another client. I got a phone call and said, hey, I've got this buddy. He's got a great business up in the Boston area, and I know you can help him. And I said, okay, well, tell me a little bit about the business. He goes, you know those coupon books that you get in the mailbox, and they have all these ads from different local restaurants and stuff? I'm like, yeah. He goes, that's what he has. And I know he's got a tremendous opportunity here, and I just can't figure out how to help him get to the next level, but I know you can. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm like, all right, I got to make sure before I engage with a client that we can actually get them to where they want to go. So David and I had a conversation. He explained the idea of where he wanted to go with his business. And I'm like, all right, I got to get my hands around this thing. And we really need to dig in and see what the opportunity. Well, long story short, not only did we figure out what the opportunity was, but he has an amazing business. I had no idea what direct mail was, the statistics behind direct mail, the effectiveness behind direct mail, and everyone's talking about the internet nowadays. And I think this is an area that has been forgotten about by a lot of business owners. And I'm telling you, if you own a business, tune in, because David's going to share some really interesting facts and figures and things that are going on. So listen up. What worked in the past is now working again in a big, big way. So David, welcome to the show. And man, give us a little insight into, what's going on with direct mail right now. You and I had a conversation recently, and you showed me a postcard from Google, and you're like, hey, Google's using direct mail. I'm like, Google? The people that can advertise for free? I mean, right. They're pretty smart people.
Yep. I loved, to be honest with you, getting that in the mail. That was like, boom. Google's doing it. There's a reason for it. The direct mail, like you say, it was a great intro. Direct mail in the past was something that you would think was something in the past, not current with today's online social media and all media marketing. So the issue with that is that it's become so crowded. And now there's so much advertising online that people are glancing over it, hitting delete on the emails, and it's nothing standing out except for direct mail. Because when people go to the mailbox every single day, they're looking at what's in that mailbox, and they're making sure that they don't throw anything away that they need. So they're looking at every piece in their hand to see what they should do with that piece. And if you have a good advertising right there, you have a captured audience. So it's a great, great marketing piece thing to do.
Absolutely. I loved the photo that you sent me recently. David just did a direct mail piece for a car dealership. And there's a desk. Imagine a desk at this car dealership, and there's a mound of these coupons and these flyers. It must have been, 10, 12 inches high, piled over this desk, falling practically on the floor, of customers coming in saying, I want to take advantage of this offer that you're offering. And you got an email from the owner of a car dealership with a note saying, wow, you said it was going to work, but I didn't expect this kind of response.
Yeah, exactly right. And we love seeing that. And we get that a lot, actually. And I love that. So it's interesting. So for every $167 spent in direct mail, U.S. marketers get about $2,100 in goods received. So wow. Yeah. And a lot of reasons for that, too, is you may say a car dealership, maybe they'll do a direct mail for a low value of $19, $19.95, but that becomes a lost leader for them. And they train their staff that once they have the customer in the store, they're going to look at the brakes, they're going to look at the tires, and look at other things and see if there's other things that need to be worked on and to upsell. So you spend, a certain amount of money in direct mail, but it can bring you great, great revenue as well.
Yeah, it's about getting those people in the door.
Yeah, exactly.
Even for a restaurant, give away a free dessert, and what do you have? You now have a new customer that's coming in the door.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
It works. It works.
It does. Yeah. So we work with all different industries. So you mentioned the car dealerships. We do it for restaurants, dental practices, chiropractors. It's really unlimited. Landscapers, hardscapers, asphalts for driveways. It's power wash companies. It's just really unlimited as far as the type of businesses. It's for every type of business out there.
And it was interesting because when we first started working together, kind of the main focus initially was you have these coupon books in the greater Boston area. And, you get the little books and they got different coupons in for different businesses. And what I love about David's business is, as we add additional pages into the books, his cost structure really isn't going up that much because it costs X number of dollars to mail it. If we add a couple extra pages, it's adding pennies onto the cost structure. So that was kind of the first thing that we looked at. It was like, all right, how can we take our existing expense structure, not increase it in order to get additional revenue, the most revenue dropping to the bottom line. And we kind of started there, and then it just kept morphing from there and going, oh, hold on, now what if we just send maybe something else, a flyer or something else in with the things that we're already sending? And we just started brainstorming different ideas. And now we've really moved the business from kind of a Boston area kind of base, and now you're getting calls from all over the country. Tell about the one out in I can't speak today, Ohio, from last week.
Yeah, that was exciting. Actually, we received a phone call from a power wash company in Northern Ohio saying that they were interested in doing a direct mail piece with us. So it was through an email on our website that contacted me. So I reached out to them and responded. And her first reaction was, "Thank you so much for responding. I reached out to a bunch of companies and no one responded." I'm thinking, how could a company not respond? You have a potential new prospect, a customer. So anyway, I was excited to speak with her and gave some good information and learn about their business and how we could be a value add to them. And it was excellent. And what was excited was that she actually found us by Googling direct mail companies. And I'd see we're now getting exposure through SEO and through our own social media as well, across the country, not just here locally in Boston area.
Absolutely. And look, how many people out there have called companies, don't get any return phone calls? It's about doing things that other companies don't do. I know you hand out your cell phone number, to anybody that wants it. It's like, look, I'm the owner. Here I am. You're not going to get a switchboard. You're not going to get this, a receptionist or a call center. You don't have to send an email to get a response. It's like, pick up the phone and call me.
Right. Yeah. And I truly believe that service is so much of what our business, any business is really. I don't work alone. We have a staff of 6 of us, between salespeople and operation and graphic designers. And, it's service is everything, and people appreciate that and they want a response. So.
Absolutely. And I know also that, your Instagram, you're going into businesses, you're taking pictures of the business, you're promoting those things for free. You're doing things that the other companies aren't doing.
Yeah, we actually just launched last week a Facebook Messenger app. So it's kind of a soft launch. We haven't announced it yet. Our next publication, which we mailed to almost 300,000 homes, we're going to have it on the front cover of our publication with a QR code. So hopefully those households will then scan that in and see what we actually did launch. But for the soft launch, in the last 7 days, we got almost 200 people that just signed up just organically. So it's kind of cool. So I know it's going to grow from there once we actually do this official launch with it too.
Yeah.
But I actually had a meeting with a prospect today, and I showed them that, and actually helped to close the sale as well. And my salespeople have said the same. They're thrilled by this. They see how it's bringing business or potential business to them as well. So it's a great thing. And I think marketing isn't. I'm not saying you just should do direct mail. I'm not saying social media doesn't work. I think it's important to do both. And I think if you reach people by different avenues, different medias, then you'll be the most effective. I mean, people see almost 5,000 marketing pieces a day.
Wow.
So, so there's so much out there. But the difference is direct mail, you get 2 or 3 in your mailbox. That's what people are going to hold and remember the most. So.
Yep. And the recent one we did for the dentist, so it's a direct mail piece with a QR code. If you're not familiar with QR codes, you basically just hold your camera, your smartphone camera over the QR code. automatically a YouTube video comes up. And here's a YouTube video specifically designed for dentists talking about the pain they have in their practices, their ability or lack of ability to attract new clients, and some alternatives of how they can attract more clients. So it's a direct mail piece coupled with YouTube that is going to drive the process in getting clients coming in and David doing direct mail for those dentists.
Right.
You've got to use a combination of everything that's available. And if you're just using the internet, you're missing a big opportunity because your audience is just inundated with stuff every single day, and they're just looking over it.
Exactly. Yeah, the response rate on social media is 2 to 3% of response rate, which leads to
2 to 3%
of response rate, meaning to actually doing a click through, but the actual sale is like 0.6%.
Oh,
so very low. Whereas direct mail is like 5.3%, so it's actually much greater. So
give the audience some idea that has no idea kind of what the cost structure on a direct mail. So let's say I'm a chiropractor and I want to send out a postcard, and I'm looking to send, and this is something that's interesting, is that the way you have the ability to narrow down the market. So let's say that you want to approach all the houses in a particular zip code. That's kind of easy, but you really have a way to drill down on the demographic that you're looking for. How much can you slice and dice that demographic to exactly get to your ideal customer through direct mail?
Oh, you could get anything. You could do any type of filtering. So we actually work with a pediatric dentist that does a direct mail piece, and she does each month she does a certain amount of pieces. And what we did is we actually filtered all the mailings so they only go to households with a certain level of income with 2 children or more in the household under the age of 2 years old.
Really, you can drill down that far?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah. So you can really target your market, in any type of filtering that you would like. Interesting.
We ought to do a direct mail piece that says, hey, are you parents of 2 children under the age of 5?
There you go. Yeah. So there's a great opportunity to target what you want to reach. We do a lot of direct mails actually in full zip codes as well. Sometimes what we do is carrier routes where someone wants to be in a particular neighborhoods based on the location. So we do it for restaurants, for example. They want to do a 5-mile radius within the restaurant. So it may go to a town next to them. It may not even reach households in their own town because it was further away than the town that if they're bordering a town. So we could do that as well and just do carry routes based on a certain radius, 2-mile, 3-mile, 5-mile radius, whatever it may be. So
interesting.
Yeah.
And you help them design the entire, a lot of business owners like, hey, I want to advertise, but I really don't know what to say or how to say it. You've got a whole team that'll actually help them structure what these ads and postcards should look like, correct?
We do. We have design help. We have graphic designers that work with us, and we design the entire ad. We work with them. We show them proofs, make sure they're happy with everything. We get feedback from them originally on what they're looking to promote, of course. But the proofs we show them, and they make any edits they need, and we make it really nice and eye-catching. We use our own professional opinion on what would work best for them. And then we do the print, and then we do the mail as well. So the customer doesn't even touch the piece. We give them the samples, of course, but if they're printing 50,000 pieces, that's a lot of paper. It's pretty heavy, to be honest with you. So yeah, so we actually do everything, and we actually have some customers that, for example, we work with a dental practice that does 20,000 pieces each month. So what we did was we printed 240,000 pieces because that brought down his cost to print that high of a volume. So we store in our own storage facilities all the printouts, and then we mail 20,000 per month for the next 12 months.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Give me an idea. I'm a small chiropractic organization. I don't really have a huge budget, but I do want to send out 20,000 postcards to the neighborhood. What would I be looking at for costs for printing, mailing, the whole thing, all in?
Okay. Well, I do want to touch on one thing that you had mentioned, the coupon book.
Yes.
And so that's more local, to be honest with you. That's more the Boston vicinity. We do work with some national companies as well that are in the books that do inserts, like you mentioned, as well as pages. But But that's a way to kind of bring your cost down, is to be in a page in the book or even an insert in the book. Direct mail can be pricey. It varies based on the size of piece that you're printing. It varies, of course, on how many you're mailing because of the postage costs associated with it. And it varies if you're doing any filtering. If there's a cost not to us, but there are companies that actually do the filtering to know, what you're looking for to target. So there's some cost to buy a mail list. But so to speak, I would say roughly 40 to 45, 50 cents per piece, depending on what you do.
Okay, so if it was 40 cents a piece and I did 10,000, that'd be about $4,000. 20,000, about $8,000.
Roughly,
roughly thereabouts.
Yeah.
So depending on what you're actually doing or the service that you're selling, but let's just say you did 10,000, it cost you 4,000 for the postcards. And one of the things that I love about this industry is that, unlike an email or something that comes across on a banner ad or showing up in kind of in your feed in Facebook or whatever, it's sitting. I mean, I'm looking at my desk, and it's like, I've got paper of things. It's like, you keep it. It's like, somebody's business card. It's like, hey, there it is. It's sitting on my desk.
Yeah.
It doesn't go away. It's physically there.
Yeah, that's why direct mail has the greatest impact, because it has that tangible something to hold.
Yeah.
And actually, there was a study done at Temple University School of Business recently, and what they did is they did neurological, if I can pronounce that correctly.
That was good.
Studying of how they react to digital marketing versus print marketing. And it was really fascinating, because what they did is they followed the eyeballs to see where people are scanning to read, and they checked the heart rate and all these different signs that the bodies are reading. And they actually found that people, of course, spend more time reading a direct mail piece or print something in their hand and actually retaining it in their head versus something on the computer.
So, it's funny. I always, if I'm reading, I need to read a bunch of stuff, that I'll print it out, and I never knew why I like to have it in my hand. I don't know. I'll read small stuff on the computer, but if I'm reading something, I like to have it in my hand. I like to touch it.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm a pen and paper person. I have lists everywhere, and but I'm the same way. I like to hold something and read it. It's something tangible. I'd never bought a Kindle. I like to read a book, So
I like to read books too.
Yeah, I see that. Yes.
I've got a bunch of them. What's been some of the interesting things that you've learned in the business after owning it? I think as business owners, we get into a business, and with a little bit of your backstory, you actually worked in the business before you bought the business. So you had the opportunity to actually learn it before actually taking it over and actually running it.
Yeah, I was actually very fortunate. So I was introduced to a gentleman that started the company in 1987 and did amazing with it, and so much credit to what he built. And, he was at the point in his life where he wanted to look for a successor and then, sell the business. So I worked with him for 2 years with the plan to then 2 years later, after I learned the business, to then acquire the business from him. We have such a great working relationship that he's working with me still, and he's working on all his accounts, and he's just as passionate as he was, in 1987 when he started the business. And I love that. I appreciate it, and it's so great. So we work together still, and it's great. The great thing, you're just talking about entrepreneurs, what I do love about it is, although I acquired this business, I put my own stamp on the business, and some of the things that he's done in the past, what he's done, he's not as up to speed on some of the technology and some of those things, those aspects. So I was able to kind of modernize our product, I guess you could say, in some ways. So which is exciting too. So there's so much opportunity to do just more than just what we're doing with just the print itself. So
yeah. I mean, just what we've done in the last couple of months. Every time we're on a call, we're always challenging each other. It's like, all right, we're doing this. And I think one of the most important things that we did was we took the business and we really started to slice and dice each piece of it. And we said, okay, we want to grow this business. We have a clear goal of where we want to take it. And we started to say, okay, if we take this segment of the business and we start to grow it, what's that going to mean? We take this piece, what does that mean? What does this mean? And the interesting thing is it's really evolved from kind of more of a local business, and now you have the ability to serve the entire nation. We're not talking about going international at this juncture. Maybe that's going to be our next discussion. But the evolution of where the business is going, the Facebook bot, the Instagram account, the social media marketing behind the scenes, the sales team and what they're doing, really taking this thing to the next level. And that's why you're getting these phone calls nationally saying, hey, we need some help. And the message needs to get out more that direct mail is the way of not only current effective marketing, but also in the future, because online is just going to keep getting busier and busier.
Yeah, that's so true. And I guess I have to credit you, Thor, because when we're dissecting the parts of the business that would be even better for us to do, you're pushing me on the inserts. And last quarter, we actually had the most inserts that we had ever done in a quarter. We had about 650,000 pieces inserted in our books last quarter. So it was great. So is it okay? Can I mention national companies on this podcast?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So talking about the national and with our coupon books, which you think is it's a local because we are serving local businesses, but we have Geico that just signed with us last quarter. Obviously, a large national company spending lots of money, and now they're doing direct mail with us and doing books, pages in our books, and they're doing an insert in our book this coming quarter as well. So, yeah, there's so much opportunity for even national companies to come into the Boston area, Massachusetts, and advertise to those homeowners.
Or look, even online, if you have a product that you sell online and you want to target households, what's a page in the book is what, $400, $500?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, $500. So it's like, you sell, you sell blankets. There's no reason why you can't advertise in a book that sell blankets, even though you're online. What is it about? It's about someone seeing your product, liking your product, and then buying it.
Right. Exactly. So. Yeah. And the other interesting thing you had mentioned is like the future of this business. So I had some fear, to be honest with you, with the way social media was going, how it would affect our business. And, especially years ago, there was a Amazon Local, which now no longer in business, but they were doing online sales for sort of like Groupon, for local businesses. They're no longer doing that. There's another one called Social Living that did that as well. They're no longer doing that as far as the digital aspect. But anyway, so my fear was that all this online marketing was just going to kill my business. But there's actually a report that came out just recently I think it was an article in Forbes that said that direct mail is now thriving with the millennial generation more than ever before.
Nice.
So I was actually, that was last September, I think it was. And I was so thrilled to see that because that's the future of the business. These are the 18, 36-year-olds, whatever it may be. Yeah. And, they're going to be the homeowners one day as well if they're not today. And so I love seeing that they felt, I think it was 84% of the people, of the millennials that get the mail in the mailbox to actually look at and look forward to what's in the mailbox. So versus social media or online advertising.
Yeah, I saw it before the interview. You actually had a mailbox, I think, behind you.
Yes, there it is.
There it is.
Can you see it from here? Yep. There's the Google ad. So
I love that.
Coupon. Yeah.
But so, it just speaks volumes. Google can advertise on their platform for $0. They can advertise as much as they want to for $0.
Right.
But they're investing in direct mail.
Right. And that's the thing. They sent it to me as a company. They didn't go to an individual household, which is something to mention because this isn't just B2C, businesses advertising to consumers. This could be businesses advertising to other businesses. Yeah.
Interesting. So if you're a B2B company that's out having paid ads on Facebook or Google, direct mail would also work for you as well.
Yes, it could. And that's what Google did. Yeah, or Google does. Yeah. So to be honest with you, we're doing it ourselves. We're doing a mailing to dental practices.
Yes.
So to let them know what we do as a business and how we can help them, as you had mentioned, get more patients.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's endless. I can't wait to hear the results of that. I know it just dropped in the mail just today or yesterday.
Yeah.
All right, coming up. All right.
Yeah.
I've been chomping at the bit. It's like, come on. How's it going? How's it going?
Yeah.
How's the results? Hey, let's talk a little bit also about, we've been talking about doing things that other people aren't doing. And I told this story actually on a podcast I just did a few minutes ago. And, we were talking about, we're always out there looking for new customers. And one of the things that we talked about, I said, how many customers used to do business with the organization, stopped doing business with the organization for whatever reason, even before your time, before you were the owner. And I said, why don't we, get on the phone with them? Why don't we just pick up the phone and call? And I remember, I might have the figures off here a little bit. You can correct me. But I said, call 10 people. Call 10 people. He called me the next day. He said, I asked, I said, how'd it go? And you're like, well, I didn't get a hold of 7 of them. I spoke to 3. So I did speak to 3 of them. So I said, well, how'd the 3 go? Oh, this person bought this person bought this person bought this. I'm like, how much was that? What was the profit margin on all that stuff? And he said, $3,200. I was like, wait a second. We just had one day, 10 phone calls, 7 of them didn't even go through, just left messages. And these messages were simply, hey, I really appreciate you being a client of ours in the past. And I'm the owner. If there's anything I can ever do for you, here's my cell phone. Connect with 3 of them, $3,200 worth of profits. I'm like, if we do that every single day, we're going to add an extra $500,000 worth of profitability to the company. It's doing things that your competitors aren't. And you got to ask yourself, if you have a business out there, are your competitors utilizing direct mail? And if you started to utilize it, test it out, see if it works in your marketplace. What would the results be? Don't get locked into that. I think as business owners, we tend to do that. We get locked into this mindset that, well, this is kind of a new thing. This is what everyone's doing. And we forget about the tried and true.
Yeah, that's Thor. That's spot on. So very well said. And again, it's the direct mail now stands out from the crowd.
Yeah.
So, and that's really significant. So,
yeah.
I actually have a comic. Can you see this comic behind me? It's kind of funny. I actually have a copy, but it's.
Oh, good. Hold it up.
Yeah.
We can see it. So for all those that are on the podcast and are not looking at the video, it says 15 years ago, you get a letter and the guy is sighing. They get a ding. You've got mail, AOL, and he's jumping up and down. Today, it says you have 220 unread emails with a big frown, and he goes, "Oh my God, I got a letter," with a big smiley face. And it's true.
Yeah, I love that. So yeah, that's exactly what we're saying. That stands out again. So which is great. So and it's very true too. So
what do you think? What do you think's next for the business? Obviously, much more presence nationally. I don't think we're talking about international at this point. There's a big enough market here in the United States. We're doing the social media. You're doing the bot, using the QR codes on the direct mail, so they have also that touch to video. What do you think the next step in direct mail is going to be in the future?
Well, I don't think the direct mail will change as far as what goes in the mailbox. But I think it is what goes on the direct mail to make it more interactive. So you had mentioned like a QR code where you could then scan and see a video, for example. But there are other things that potentially you could do with direct mail. Some rewards. If you scan this, so go to this URL, play this game, you can then win a $50 gift card to our restaurant, wherever it may be, our business. So I think there's ways to make it more interactive as well. Yeah. And I see it going that way. I also have this vision of building an app. Like we have the new Facebook Messenger app I mentioned too. I have this vision of building an app where if someone is in a shopping area, they'll get a pop-up on their phone from TCB Advertising saying, go to this store next where exactly where you are, in the mall, and get 10% off. Show it on this phone. So I do see that as well as part of our business. So, and I want to be TCB, the media. So it's not just the direct mail, but it's growing to the online as well. For
advertising us. Media.
Yep.
Love it.
Yep.
Well, David, I love what you're doing. I love the brand. It took me a couple weeks to really see the vision, because I was kind of locked into, I don't know. And then with any business, you start to peel it back. You start to look at the opportunities. We collaborate really well. I'm really excited for what you're doing, and it's a joy to work with you. And thanks for being on today.
Yeah, thanks, Thor. I appreciate the conversation. It's great. Yeah, anytime you want to talk about direct mail, you know who to call. So.
Let's talk next week.
All right, we will.
All right, brother. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Have a great one.
You too. Bye-bye.
Right. Oh, by the way,
yes.
All of David's information you can find in the show notes. Tell them how they can get in touch with you. The website is tcbads.com.
Right.
And if they wanted to have a conversation with you, what's your email address?
My email address is dkoplan, DKOPLAN, @tcbads.com. And, like you said, you call my cell phone as well. So I can give that number, 617-529-4889.
I love it, man.
Yep.
No corporate, walls here.
No,
there's my cell phone. There you go.
Done that. I've been in the corporate world. We learn a lot from that. So.
No, look, it makes a difference. A lot of business owners don't even want to take a phone call through their, through a corporate number. So I commend you. That's the way business is done. You want to do business? Here I am. Let's form a relationship.
Yep, exactly. Thank you.
All right. Have a great one.
Thanks. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.